Peace to the family and all of those who are tuning in to this crazy ideal of mine to do these type of shows at this time of hour. And I am doing these shows at this time of hour, and I'm going to be doing these for my Facebook audience because I have not really been talking to my Facebook audience in a while, and I wanted to bring something back to my Facebook audience, but I didn't really want to do it where I would be bothering you throughout your day, because I know you're most busy throughout the day, and I'm usually up around this time of night, and I really wanted to bring something to you where you might be up scrolling through the gram or scrolling through Facebook, and you might just happen to see this light up in your timeline. And so I wanted to bring something to those who are awake at this hour, and I call these the after hours audio cast midnight mood swings. And you know why I named it the midnight mood swings? Because this is the time of hour where I am so deep in my thoughts. I could turn the music off now, y'all. Can I turn the music off now? I just wanted to introduce that vibration. This is the time of hour where I am in so deep into my thoughts, where I am losing my mind. So I have to bring you something. I have to kind of like use a outlet to vent in a healthy way. And so I'm bringing this to you. This is the way I'm a vent, in a good way, healthy way, on Facebook, in a audio cast, late night, midnight, after hours. So basically what I'm saying here is this: I am not responsible for what I say after this time of hour. I'm going to blame it on sleep deprivation. I'm going to blame it on tiredness. I'm going to blame it on all kinds of lack of sleep, everything. I'm going to blame it on everything. So whatever I say at this hour really doesn't apply to who and what I do during the day. Okay? Blame it on lack of sleep, lack of rest, or whatever else you want to blame it on. So, let's get started. Peace to everybody out there doing this live with me. This is the audio. This is the after hours audio cast, midnight mood swings. Today I want to talk about how to break the uninspired spell clouding over you. Now, I'm bringing this topic and these top topics to you on the Facebook platform specifically because you know, sometimes you just have to be real. You just have to be yourself. You just have to be so open, so honest, and so vulnerable. And I think I can do that on my Facebook. So I just brought it here. I think my Facebook family loves me. My Facebook family loves me. I have a Facebook tight-knit Facebook family that really, 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 really rock with me. Like, I realize I don't have a wide spread of people on I have a lot of followers on Facebook, but like the posts I see is usually the same people. I usually see the same people up and down my timeline. You know, it don't change. But that could be the reason why there's an uninspired cloud hanging over you. It could be part of the reason you are dealing with an uninspired cloud hanging over you. Could be that maybe you are doing a lot of scrolling. During your scrolling, you are coming across the same people, posting the same thing. Now, nothing wrong with posting the same thing. Thank you for joining this live audio cast. Again, I'm bringing these after hour audio cast to my Facebook audience specifically. Not every night, but you count yourself lucky when you see them pop up, because they're going to be some of probably the most funny, most hilarious. I guess that's the same word, right? The most hilarious and the most loose, the most engaging, thought-provoking. Not going to be too serious on this one. I get the seriousness on my teaching on my Instagram, but this one I'm just going to kind of cut loose. So, listen, you know what I'm saying? Back to the topic, how to break the uninspired spell clouding over you. And sometimes what you end up seeing is maybe the uninspired cloud that's hanging over you is because you got people that you just keep seeing up and down your timeline that just don't change their outlook in life. You get what I'm saying? You got to understand that everything is feeding into your psyche, into your subconscious mind. And so everybody that's jumping in your face on social media and in your life, if they're not motivated. And sometimes, listen, this is why these after hour topics is coming, because I may be all over the place. I may ramble. I may jump off topic. I may go left. I may go right. I may go straight. I may go up. I may go down. I'm not trying to be very serious, but I am trying to keep it informative. If you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to be strategically sticking to a structure. I'm just going to be informative at the same time. Be funny, be loose, be engaging. So sometimes you're going to see people, back to my thinking, my thought. Sometimes you're going to see people up and down your timeline that just nothing changes about them, and that's feeding into your psyche. Sometimes you're going to see people that's up and down your timeline that is continuously posting the same things, talking about the same things, or even sometimes more personal, people are sharing the same things in your inbox, just giving it to you all day long. And then you got people in your life that you might not see them on your social media, but you may see them in real life, but you hear them say the same thing. You hear them say the same things, right? And you hear them, or you watch them live the same way, live the same life. Nothing changes. How do you break the spell? How do you break the spell that is clouding over you? How do you break that onion? Because what happens is, because it's feeding into your subconscious mind, this stuff is feeding and nurturing your mental and emotional state of well-being. Your well-being. You are not well. You are not feeling very inspired. Now, I'm bringing it after hours audio cast. Midnight mood swings. Why? Midnight mood swings because I can swing this thing left or I can swing it right. It doesn't matter. I may go up, I may go down. So, but reason why I'm bringing this to you is this. I'm looking at like my life. You know how many people come to me and tell me that they admire what I do. I admire what you do on a daily. I admire what you do. But I look back and I say, what am I doing? Am I doing anything special? Am I doing anything good? Am I doing anything warranted of your appreciation? Like, really, what am I doing? Am I doing anything good? Am I doing anything, beloved? The reason why we have these moments with ourselves and where we're asking questions like this, and I'm talking about myself, usually there's a lot of factors that play into why you could be uninspired. Again, blame your timeline. Your timeline doesn't change, then nothing's going to change within. If the people around you are not speaking differently, speaking highly, speaking evolved, then nothing's going to spark any change within you. And also, make it personal. Let's not put anybody in the spectrum of why this is happening. Let's make it personal. Maybe because you just lack sleep. It's, speaking to myself, I'm lacking sleep. And so I'm up late night. I'm in my office, in my apartment. And I am at the drawing board. And I am just, when I'm at the drawing board, I can be here. When I'm at the drawing board, I can be here for about 4 or 5 hours a night. At the drawing board, erasing things, drawing up new plans, erasing things, drawing up new ideas, erasing things, drawing up new ideas. Some of you been following me long enough, you probably seen me change right in front of you. Names, you see me change physical appearances. You see me change. And you know what? To me, that's not an abomination to my character. That actually is fun for me. It's like I get to put on a different costume. But the thing is, though, those are the real me's. Multiple personalities. And I got to admit this, right? Midnight mood swings. These are like some things I'm just going to be confessing. You feel me? So I'm going to have fun with this a little bit for my Facebook audience, because I have not been talking to y'all in a while. And I left y'all kind of out there in the abyss. And so I thought while I'm up You know, I'm in my office in my apartment. I have an office in my apartment a closet I turned into an office where I got all my whiteboards and I got my podcast studio here, and I just decided to come in here and sit down and go live and create this show that I feel like, man, I need something that is going to keep me. You know what happened? You know why this show tonight is even birthed, why it came about? Because I was sitting uninspired. I was like, man, I erase my boards in here. I go to the drawing board. I erase ideas and I put up new ideas. And then 2 weeks later, I'll erase the ideas that's sitting up there and get new ideas. But I'm sitting in here and I'm thinking like, dang, like what has not changed with me? What has not changed? What has not changed? And I sit back, I'm like, dang, you know, I don't think there's nothing I'm looking at in my life that has not changed. Everything in my life has changed. You understand? So I'm sitting back and I'm talking to myself a lot in my office. Talking to myself a lot. So I just say, how do you break this spell? How do you break this spell of being uninspired? You know, when I sit at my whiteboard and I'm erasing it and I'm coming up with I have this new idea in my mind, but the moment I erase the whiteboard, all of a sudden I can't think of anything I was thinking of. And so I'm sitting at the whiteboard and I'll be here for hours trying to remember the ideas that was sitting in my head before I came and erased everything. So, how do you break the spell of the uninspired cloud that hangs over you? Listen to me. It's going to require an extreme measure. What's the saying? Drastic measures calls for, drastic change. Extreme change, extreme measures. So when you have when you have these extremes, and I'm very extremist. I'm an extremist. I'm very hot and I'm very cold. One day I'm hot, one day I'm cold. I don't think there's no middle with me. I'm hot and I'm cold. But I know a lot of y'all sit back and y'all just feel uninspired. And I'm gonna tell you why this topic came up tonight. And I'm going to tell you why this uninspired thing comes up for you, not just for me. I'm going to tell you why you switch jobs a lot. Some of you, not all of you. I'm going to tell you why you feel the need to get a job, quit a job, get a job, quit a job. I'm going to tell you why you sit at your job for 20 years and you feel like you wasted your life. The uninspired cloud is hung over you. It hangs over all of us at some point, sometime in our existence. And it can hang over us to the degree where we develop muscle atrophy. How many of you know what muscle atrophy is? It's when you can't really move. You get locked in place. You're kind of locked in place. You're locked in place. Your muscles don't work. Not on a physical level, but on a mental and emotional level, you really don't feel like moving. You're like a slug. You're like a sloth. You feel like a sloth where you just, and uninspiredness can come in, settle in, and can create this sloth-like attitude within us where, we get uninspired. We get like a sloth where everything is drawn out. Everything is slow. And a lot of this is because I'm not going to go too deep in the topic of holistics in this topic right now. But a lot of it has to do with, your blood levels. You know what I'm saying? In the food that you're eating. You're eating, smoking, and your blood levels are raising, spiking to the roof. A shot, boom. You know, you drink late at night, not knowing that your alcohol is full of sugar. You understand? And your blood level spikes through the roof. And now you're up 12, 11, 2 in the morning. And you're in your feelings. And you are, I'm going to turn the music off. I don't want to hear it no more. And you are in your feelings. And you are feeling drained, and you're feeling emotional even. Because you got people like in your head. You got voices in your head. You got visions and images of other people living their best life in your head. And you wonder, how did you get to your age? And your life did not turn out the way that you thought you dreamed of when you was 25. How did you get to this age in your life where it didn't turn out to be what you dreamed of when you was 18? You wonder how. And a lot of it has to do with you sitting back and just feeling uninspired. And again, I'm going to call it what it is. It is a lot to do with your blood sugar you drinking maybe late at night, or even eating. You might not just drink, even eating, having coffee, caffeine spikes, sugar spikes, food that is spiking now your digestive system to go into operation mode when you should be sleeping and being ready to lay down, and your body now wants to work when it shouldn't be working. And so now the engines are going, and now it's keeping you up, and now you're in your head, and now you're full of thoughts, and now you're dealing with emotions and mood swings, and now you're feeling like you're speaking to yourself, and you're feeling like you didn't do all that you could do in your life. You know, I remember listening to a favorite motivational speaker by the name of Les Brown. He talked about, having done so many different, holding so many different job titles in his life. He said that it took him 14 years to really realize, what he wanted to do. Now, he's speaking 14 years after, he's like 20s, in his 20s, in his 30s. He had, didn't get to his 40s until he realized he wanted to speak. And so I'm saying this, beloved, and this is what you need to hear. This is what you need to hear. You need to hear this, that it may not have come to you at 30, but it is not too late for it to come to you at 40. It is not too late for it to come to you at 50. It is not too late for it to come to you at 60. Now, how do you break the spell clouding over you, the uninspired spell? It's, beloved, and I'm not saying do what I do, but one of the things that I do, here we go. One of the things that I do, or I would say one of the things that I does, to avoid saying do, which I just said again. But one of the things that I does is that I stay optimistic. And optimistic type of attitude, optimism, keeps me inspired to create. And that's why I stay at the drawing board. So I'm realizing that, man, I'm always at the drawing board. But why am I always at the drawing board? Because I am always changing. Why am I always changing? Because I'm always optimistic. I am staying optimistic about my life, about life. I'm staying on that journey and that path. Excuse me. I'm staying on that path of optimism that allows me to keep seeing beyond where I'm at right now, which is allowing me to keep going, which is allowing me to stay alive. Not just physically, but spiritually. My spirit is alive. So people say things like this to me. I witness people saying things like this to me. Oh, you're so inspiring to me. Or keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And can you accept my friend request because I want to see your post. I find them very educating and enlightening. This is the stuff I see in my inbox. And so I'm like, wow, this is beautiful that people really see this light in me. But it's like, but how come they cannot see the changes, the mood swings that I go through at night that causes the changes that I display during the day on my posts, on my pages, to my relationships, in my relationships? How can they not, if you are close to me, you will witness these changes. But if you are afar, you may not see these up close and personal changes. But you may see them if you're up close and personal with me. But if you follow me, you may not follow me and check on my page every single day you go to social media. Let me see what the Cheif is doing. Let me see what he's doing. You may not do that. You may just come across my post scrolling through your timeline and you won't notice it like that. But you'll notice it if you check on my page all the time. You'll notice that change. But you won't notice it if you find me scrolling through. Because you're still separated and far away from me enough to not notice it. But if you come to my page a lot and you always checking on my page, you're going to see that change. And the thing is, that change is a good thing. And I am not going to be laden myself. I'm not going to be laden myself with trying to stay something singular. I'm not going to be laden myself with trying to stay something singular. I realize that what keeps my spirit driving, what keeps me alive and keeps my spirit alive is these mood swings I sit here and have at night, changing my ideas that I draw up on the board until I find something that is actually working. But even when I find something that works, I don't just stick with that. I am very optimistic, so I keep that. I say, okay, this works. That's one. Now we know that works. Let's add some more to that. And when I add more to it, and I see if that works, okay, that didn't work, I drop that off. I'm telling you some real stuff. Like I had this idea to do inspirational soul Sundays at my spiritual center, my soul center in St. Peter. I had the idea to do this Soul Sunday, inspirational Soul Sundays, and it came across as a great idea. It felt good. I spent money on food, spent money on material cloths, and I spent money on writing material. I spent money, paid a photographer to come out. I had all of it that I wanted there, and lo and behold, I didn't get but 2 people to show up to the whole event. Now, these 2 people, granted, kind of work for me. So, the funny thing about that whole situation is, could it work? It could have worked. Joyce Meyer started her ministry out of her living room. It could have worked. Paula Deen started her cooking career out of her kitchen. We all know Bill Gates started out of his garage. So we all know Jeff Bezos started out of his garage, his home. Did Amazon. So could it have worked? Absolutely, it could have worked had I stuck with it. But some things, you know how many products Apple launched that failed? Do you know how many products, I'm going to say it again. Do you know how many products Apple launched that failed? You know how many products Amazon launched that failed? Do you know how many products and drinks Starbucks launched that they just say, we are not, in no way in hell are we bringing that drink back? Do you know how many I was? Where was I? Was I in? I think I was in Starbucks, or I was somewhere getting a drink. And I said, "Do y'all got this drink?" And they said, "No, we don't got that drink." As a matter of fact, Starbucks said that they won't even be bringing that drink back. I was like, "Wow, you understand?" I think it was the salted caramel. I was livid. I said, "What? Y'all not bringing the salted caramel drink back? That's my favorite fall drink. They're not bringing the salted caramel?" I said, "Y'all pissing me off, man." Someone said, "You can go home and make your own salted caramel." No, the hell I can't. It's not a false Starbucks salted caramel drink. So maybe it's just in my area, my district, my division. Maybe it's just here in my city. I don't know if that's everywhere in Starbucks, but this is what I was told. I was told that when I went to Starbucks to look for the salted caramel drink. So they said, no, Starbucks said they're not bringing that back. I was like, y'all pissing me off. Because the pumpkin spice latte, we know that's good, but salted caramel, that was good. That was good. Okay? So, what I'm saying is this. You know, these are the after hour midnight. These are the after hour audio casts. Thank you for joining me. I am the Cheif here. And I've elevated, grown. You see how many names I've had? How many titles I've had? How many different titles I've had? See? And you can even see the changes in titles that I've held. But I realize, have no shame in changing your titles, because when you go work at a job, when you go work at a job, you are not always an employee. You know, that's just a staff. You're not always a member of this. You're not always just a part of this staff. When you go work on a job for 20 plus years, no, you move up to different positions. When you stay on the job for 20 plus years, you elevate to new and higher positions. So me changing my titles, that's only me elevating and ascending to new and higher positions. You understand? This is why most of the time, you know, my retreats are a reflection of who you're getting. My retreats are a reflection of the type of teacher you're going to get when you see me do retreats. You're going to see a reflection of that kind of teacher, because that's where I evolved to. But look at the difference in my retreats from last year, the year before, and this year. Look at the difference in my who I was. Look at the difference in who I was. I was some speaker that evolved to a teacher, that evolved to a healer, that evolved to still a healer, you know what I'm saying? That evolved to just being a healer in many ways, though. Many ways. I love doing this work that I am. And I realize that as a healer, you have stages of healing that you break out into. And so I had to, you know, succumb to the understanding that I am a healer. Is the basis and the foundation of me. At the basis of who I am, I'm a healer. But I understand that that's like the company. The healer is the company, right? You work for the healer. You work in the healing industry. You work in the healing company, right? But then with that, you have all these different rungs on the ladder that you climb. So I came in the healing space, healing, you know, through retreats and seminars and conferences I've done, online webinars. I've done so much workbooks. I've done so much work. And then that evolved as I evolved in the healing, working in the healing industry. I evolved from, you know, a luminary to now a luminary to a master to a chief. Now I see myself as like a chief, right? Chief executive officer. But I say chief spiritual luminary. This is ranking that I hold right now for myself, which is Chief Spiritual Luminary. When I say chief, I'm not looking at myself like an Indian chief. I'm not looking at myself like that. I'm looking at it like a company, a business. When you move up the rung on the ladder and you see you're someone who becomes a CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer, and I'm like in the company, in my company, I'm the Chief Spiritual Luminary, right? That's my position, my title I hold. So Chief Omaka is the only way that the title that fits. I moved up in life and moved on in different directions. But the beautiful thing about how do you break the spell of the uninspired cloud hanging over you is that you got to stay changing. You got to stay changing. You got to be willing to change and accept the new ideals that come with the change. So, as I was saying completely, that some of the things I did didn't work. Some of the ideas I had did not work. But one thing that do work, that has worked, that still works to this day is my retreats. They still work. I still do them. And I'll continue to do them. They work. They work. I know why they work. I understand why they work. Because they bring about real change. They bring about real change. People experience real change. Okay? Real change. And then a breakthrough. Now the breakthrough is going to have you wanting to change up your life. And granted, you must break through. When you have the breakthrough, when you have a mental breakthrough, because you've been sitting in a fog, a mental fog, because you've been in a brain cloud, a brain fog for the last 2 years, a year, 3 years, however long. And then when you have a breakthrough through that, and then they say, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Okay? I can see, the obstacles that was in your way have been removed. The clouds that was in your way is gone. And now you can see clearly. And so when you see clearly, what does that mean? That doesn't mean you stay stagnant. That doesn't mean you stay passive. Or what's the other word for optimist? You got the basic, simply speaking, when you see the clouds leave, you become an optimist and stay one. So I'm a high optimist. And I want to go back to saying this, and I want to inspire you by saying this. That, yeah, things might not have worked out for you at 25 years old. That you may be 45, and you're like, why am I not where I wanted to be at, when I was thinking about this at 25. And the thing is, if you keep thinking about what you wanted to be at 25, you know what I'm saying? Or if you keep thinking about what you could have been, and if you keep blaming, pointing fingers and blaming, no one, there's a saying I have where I say, no one wins in the blame game. No one wins in the blame game. If you keep blaming, pointing the finger, blaming, pointing the finger, blaming. If you keep blaming, you're not going to experience the change that you seek. But more importantly, you are blocking the optimistic outlook that you could have. Because optimism makes you an opportunist. And optimism makes you an opportunist. And being an opportunist, you see opportunities. When you are an optimist, you become an opportunist. When you become an opportunist, you now see opportunities. And that's what creates the change. Because it's going to take consistency at either doing one of two things. Either one is going to take consistency at staying good at one thing until you reach massive success like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, all these type of highly successful people, right? They stay good and successful at one thing. They just become successful at one thing that makes them, they're just really good at that one thing. They're just really good at that one thing, right? You can stay doing that for 40 years. And there's a guarantee if you keep doing that, you'll set yourself up in a way where your life will work out good for you. If you have a plan with that. If you say, well, I'm going to stay on this job for 40 years, and with that, I'm going to, get this gold watch, get this retirement parachute. I'm going to get this, pension. And when I'm done, buy me a house out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to have me, barbecues and bonfires and all that good stuff. You can make that your plan, and that's what happens. Or you can stay consistently good at continuously being an optimist who continuously do what? Become an opportunist who continuously sees opportunity and then seize opportunity. You see opportunity and you seize opportunity. You seize the moment. You seize the opportunities. Me, I'm an optimist, and so therefore that makes me an opportunist. Therefore, that makes me see and seize upon opportunities when they arrive. Now, I said this before. Opportunities don't just show up. You actually create opportunities when you become an optimist. When you become an optimist, immediately and automatically you begin to see opportunities. They just all of a sudden pop up out of nowhere. When you become an optimist, you see opportunities. But if you're not an optimist, if you don't stay optimistic, you're not going to be able to see the opportunities and seize upon the opportunities. So you got to have a healthy outlook in life. So you break the uninspired spell that is clouding over you by having a healthy outlook and not looking at your situation where you are now and saying, this is it for me. And saying, this is all I have. This is all I came to do. There's nothing else left for me. I have nothing else to give. I'm 45 years old. I'm 55 years old. I'm 65 years old. I'm 75 years old even. And there's nothing left to do. I don't know if y'all know who Louise Hayes is. Louise Hayes is the lady who founded Hay House. Hay House Publishing. She published Marion Wilson books. She published Dr. Dwayne Dyer books. She published all these spiritual teachers. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe some of Eckhart Tolle's books probably came out of her publishing house. But this lady, Louise Hayes, was, I think, 65, just like Colonel Sanders. Louise Hayes was like 60, in her 60s, maybe pushing 70, when she started Hay House. Hay House Radio, Hay House Publishing. When she started Hay House Publishing. Now, beloved, I sit back and I scroll through my feed. Hear me out and hear me good when I speak, what I'm about to say. The imposter syndrome can fall upon all of us. What is the imposter syndrome? The imposter syndrome is not just you believing that you are somebody that you're not, or you're not the person that you portray. Some people have the imposter syndrome that's putting out this image on social media, pretending to be somebody on social media that they're really not in their real life. They're dealing with an imposter syndrome, fraudulent type. But also the imposter syndrome could be you comparing yourself to somebody else. You believing that their life is your life, or you believing that what they're doing is something that you've always wanted to do, and you believe that what you're doing now is not what you're supposed to be doing. Did you hear what I said? You could be, you can sit back and scroll through your social media and you be comparing your life, comparing yourself to people in their life, their lifestyle. And then you get hit with the imposter syndrome. You sit back thinking, man, I'm not supposed to be doing this. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And you get inspired, or you get a spark of inspiration from somebody that you see online, and you say, I actually really want to do that. I think I could be good at that. You are dealing with the imposter syndrome. You are dealing with thinking that what they're doing is your purpose, your calling, your lot in life. And the reality is this, beloved. That's not an opportunity that you see and you're seizing upon, because it took them to show up for you to see that as an opportunity. An opportunity, hear me and hear me good. An opportunity is something that is not shown to you by others, but something that is revealed within you. An opportunity is something that is not shown to you by scrolling through your feed and looking at other people's lives. An opportunity is something that is revealed within you. It is not something that you see and you say, oh, that's an opportunity I can seize upon. I'm going to do it because I see them doing it. I think I can do that. That's the imposter syndrome. That's you believing that you are here to do something. You were made to do something that they're doing that's really not your calling in life. So now you're looking at them with the I can do that, with that I can do that attitude. And granted, we can do whatever we put our minds to, right? But this is what causes the uninspired cloud to draw itself over you. Because burnout happens. Burnout happens when you go diving into so many different things that is not related to your field, or related to your purpose, or related to your calling. Now, this is what I wanted to say, backing up just a smidget, on the part of when you're looking at people scrolling through. When you're looking at people scrolling through your feed, and you get this sudden spark of inspiration looking at what they do, and you say, oh my God, I can do that too. I'm going to do that. And you go outside of the realm and the scope of what you were put here to do, your purpose. You go outside of that realm and that scope, and you go and try and do that. You realize that's not what I really wanted to do. Burnout happens. You get tired. Lethargy kicks in. Exhaustion kicks in. Mental, fog kicks in. And so now you're sitting at home depressed and anxious because you're not catching up to the person you saw online doing what they do, and it looked like they're doing it at a fast rate. And you thought that you getting in the same field, that if you do it at the rate of speed that they're doing it at, that you can be where they're at in that moment that you see them where they're at. Did you hear what I just said? You think that you looking at them doing what they do, you sit back and you go jump into it, try and do it, and you say, I can do that too, and you try and do it at you go all in, you put all your money in, you put all your chips in, you put all your chips in on this. You say, I'm betting all my chips. I'm betting the house on it. Here it is. And then you think because you invested more money, that by the investment of more money is going to hurry up and put you in the race with them neck and neck. That's not how it works. Because no matter how much money you invested, beloved, it's going to cost more time investment than money investment. And you didn't put the time investment in that. And so therefore, you're going to experience burnout, uninspired. You're going to experience burnout. And you're going to be sitting home now, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 less in your bank account, because you thought by investing that much money would put you in the race neck and neck with them. But you forgot one thing. They invested time that you did not do. You understand? And so what I'm saying is you break the spell by staying consistent at what you plan, what you believe, and what you know you came here to do. Now, I said this and I'll say this again. The platform that I stand on and the basis in which I base my life out of, the scope, the field that I base my life out of is healer. So I want you to grasp this concept, because I want you to start looking at this on the drawing board with yourself. Start from the center. The center is you being a healer. Then draw out from that the many things. Draw out from that the many things that relates to that. So therefore you don't experience burnout, because you're not doing something that goes against what you stand on, your foundation. I stand on the foundation, the platform of being a healer. I base everything around that. I center everything around that little word, that little concept, that idea. I base everything around that idea. And so from that idea, I branch out like a tree. I branch out. Now, do I experience burnout? Absolutely. Do I experience burnout? Absolutely. Why? Two reasons. Either one, I'm either looking at somebody else doing what they're doing, and I'm trying to not jump in that field of what they're doing, but I'm trying to manipulate and massage my work toward what they do. So let me give you an example. I may see someone, again, here we go. I'll use Louise Hayes as an example. I'll use Louise Hayes as a perfect example. Louise Hayes started a publishing company at 65 years old. She started a publishing company. And from her publishing company, her publishing company is in the spiritual space. Her publishing company is in the spiritual space. So what she did was, instead of jumping out of her lane, jumping out of what she felt she was supposed to do on another spectrum, she felt that what she was supposed to do was create a publishing company that would promote and publish these spiritual teachers in their books. And so how it relates to what I'm about to say is this. I can look at her. Oh my God, she's in the healing space. She's in the spiritual space. She's in the same space that I am in. I want to start a publishing company too. Let me look into publishing a blog, or maybe publishing starting a publishing blog or publishing newsletter. Let me start doing that. Let me start let me start there with publishing a newsletter or publishing a blog every week or two. Let me start there. And what happens is, beloved, it relates like this, because I see her, I say, oh, she opened up a door for me to be able to jump in that lane, because she's in the spiritual space. Beloved, this is so good. She's an outlet for the spiritual space. She became an outlet. She created a publishing company that allowed spiritual healers and teachers like myself to have an outlet to the mass world. So because she jumped into the spiritual space with her publishing company, it's not for me to look at her and say, ooh, I can start a publishing company, because she just now gave me spiritual rights. She just now gave me spiritual rights to start a publishing company, because she's in the spiritual space. So let me start small. Let me do a publishing, let me do a newsletter, let me do a blog. Let me do that. Because she opened the door. She opened the door for me to start a publishing company, because she's in the spiritual space. Beloved, no. Her basis is, the foundation of what she do is publishing. So she could publish books, audio CDs, audio books, music, newsletters, newspapers, blogs, podcasts, radio. She can blog, she can publish from that and create outlets for all different genres. She entered the spiritual space with her publishing company. And all she do is publish spiritual healers and healer type books. You understand? But it doesn't mean it's opening the door for me to go start a publishing company. What it means is she gave me an outlet to write a book. Because that's a part of my work as a healer. That's a part of my work as a healer. The foundation I stand on is healer. The foundation she stand on is publishing. The foundation I stand on is healer. From that, I create outlets. What are my outlets? My outlet is podcast radio. My outlet is books. My outlet is putting the message on a t-shirt so that you can feel proud to wear it. My outlet is cooking, holistic meals. My outlet is retreats. These are my outlets. These are my outlets that can create revenue for me. And so when I jump out of my outlet, so when I look at Louise Hayes and say, let me get away from cooking, podcasts, audio casts, book writing, speech speaking, because that's another part of my outlet, speaking. Let me get away here, meditation retreats. Let me go jump in the look at that. So here's the foundation in the center is healer. And the outlets that branch out from that is books, podcasts, speaking, meals, meditation retreats. Those are my outlets from my foundation. Her outlets from her foundation is spiritual healer books, spiritual healer podcasts, spiritual healer radio shows, spiritual healer newsletters, spiritual healer blogs, spiritual healer retreat conferences. You see what I'm saying now? Her foundation is publishing. She create outlets from that. With you, when you start looking at people online and you start to go through this imposter syndrome, you will get burnt out faster because you're killing and draining the essence of your energy. Somebody told me the other day that me doing what I'm doing these audio casts, doing these Instagram lives that I do, posting all my stuff on social media, me doing all of this on social media. They told me that I'm giving away my essence. And I almost kind of like was taken aback, not in a bad way. I almost was kind of like, I had to dwell on that thought for a minute. I had to say, wait a minute. Could this person be right? That I'm giving away my essence, my energy, and I'm draining myself. I started to begin to think, maybe I am draining. Maybe I am giving away my essence, my energy. Maybe I am draining myself. Maybe I am burning out. Maybe I am. But the fact of the matter is this, beloved. This very same person, I kid you not, this very same person that told me that is the very same person that looked at what I'm doing and sees how I'm doing all of these things. I got all of this work. I gotta, listen, beloved, I got a body of work out there on the internet that it literally would take you as much time as I put into it. It would take you that much time to get through it. And we talking 10 years. We talking 10 years. We talking 10 years next month. Next month makes me 10 years. I've been in the public space doing what I'm doing as a public servant, communicator, healer. It'll be 10 years next month. I started out as a speaker and transitioned up to now a healer. It'll be 10 years. Okay? Now, the same person that told me that You giving away your essence. You giving away your energy. You giving away your essence. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give away my essence. I'm not going to give away my essence. That's why I keep it sacred to myself. And yet, nobody knows about this person. Nobody heard about this person. Now, do everybody want to go and be known? No, everybody doesn't want to get known. But this very same person that's telling me this is the same person that was saying to me, they got all these type of things that they're doing, but nothing's out there yet. And I'm like, okay, well then, when are you going to start? When are you going to start getting it out there? Because if you don't put it out there, no one will know you. The old saying goes, if you don't build it, if you build it, they will come. Well, you got to first invest. You got to first invest in building it, so that they can know that there's a lane, there's a pathway, there's a door. But if you don't build it, they don't know there's a door. And you cannot, beloved, trust me on this. You cannot just have all this stuff that you say you got within you and all of a sudden pop up on the surface with it and think that people are going to just draw near to you. Nuh-uh. They're going to go into your history and see, where's your history? They're going to look into you and say, where's the history on the things that you claim you do? I don't see no history on you. And so you getting in the game thinking that you're going to pour all this work out there when you come out on the surface. You're going to pour all this work out there at once. And you think people are going to just flock and draw near to it as soon as you put it out on the surface. You think people are going to draw near to it the moment you just empty the pot on them? Absolutely not. People are going to want to look up. People are going to want to know the history on you. What do you got out there? I got 10 years of work out here. And like I said, it's going to take you about 10 years to get through it. If you go through every piece of document, file, video, audio, podcast, book, everything I put out there, every message I've spoken, it'll probably take you 10 years to see it all and go through it all and hear it all, read it all, and listen to it all. It's going to take you, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it's going to take you a very long time to get through it. A very long time. And I ain't exaggerate when I say at least 5 to 6. 5 to 6 years to get through 10 years of work. Straight up. Okay? Straight up. Because I can go back into the archives and pull it all up and lay it out in front of you and tell you to go through it all. And you'll sit back and be like, I ain't got that kind of time. Right. That's a fact. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have that kind of time. Because what I do ain't for you. I ain't saying my retreats ain't for you, stuff like that. But what I'm saying, the work that I do, that I'm being called to, that's not for you. That's for me. That's why there's 10 years of work out there. Because that's for me. So this person that told me I'm giving away my essence, I was like, maybe I am. I started to think, maybe I am giving away my essence. Then I said, wait a minute, no, hold on. No, this is who I am. This is who I've always been. This is who I will always be. I will always give it away because it's going to draw. It may draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to me. It may draw 10 to me. It may draw 1,000 to me. But beloved, I believe in it so much. I believe in it so much that I stay optimistic about it, which means I continuously keep creating in those outlets. I keep creating in the book writing outlet. I keep creating different menus and recipes in the holistic meals that heal outlet. I keep creating in the outlet. It keep me optimistic. It keep me optimistic. And as I said before, when you are an optimist, it's not people you see scrolling online. It's not people you see in your life that you get the spark of inspiration to become to seize upon an opportunity. No, opportunities are revealed within. They're not seen on the surface of looking at someone. They're seen within. They spark what people can do with what they do is spark the ingenuity, the movement, the motivation. People can spark the motivation to get you up out of your seat and say, ooh, thank you for that motivation. I needed that. Thank you for that inspiration. I needed that to now go and do what I'm here to do. To now go and put out what I'm supposed to put out. To now go and be what I'm supposed to be. And I'm saying to you, it's not too late. It is not too late. But you'll believe it's too late if you think that you are doing right now at this moment what you're not put here to do. Let me say it again, because I may have said that wrong. You will become uninspired if you look at right now where you're at in age in life, not the job, but in life. If you believe, man, I am not doing what I want to do in my life. If you look at that, you're not going to see within the opportunity to seize upon. But if you look at, man, I'm 45 years old, I still got a lot of life left in me. And you don't look at life in a box, in a prism, looking at life like, oh, I'm 45, that means I got 50 years, 55 years left to live. If my math is right. You're not looking at it like, oh, I got 55. You're not looking at life in a box. You're looking at life like this. Man, I'm 45. But I can actually get busy on working in my purpose, my field, what I came here to do. And in 2 years' time, a year, 2 years, putting in the consistent work day in and day out. In 2-3 years, I can actually be living the way I always desired to live. So stop looking at what you don't have from the dreams you had at 25 and start looking at where you are now at 45 and looking at how you can be somewhere different in 3 years that can actually change the whole outlook on your life. In 3 years' time, you can literally change the outlook on your life, the whole scope of your life in just 3 years. And so now you're not looking at life in a box anymore. Damn, I'm not where I want to be, I'm 45 years old. I'm not where I wanted to be by this time in my life when I was 25. So that's you thinking in the box. But if you stop thinking in the box and you look at life as an opportunist, as an optimist, and you say, I'm 45 years old. I can start this right now, today, tomorrow. I can start this. I can start this project. I can launch this book. I can get this LLC. I can start this organization. And in a year time, 100 people can know about it. 200 people can know about it. And it can actually grow and be where I wanted it to always be. Or it can grow and be where I wanted it to be in 2-3 years time, 4 years time, 5 years time. If you look at life like living in the scope of 2 to 3 years, 4 or 5 years, then beloved, you got all the time in the world to live the rest of your life, the best of your life after that. You got all the time in the world to live the rest of your life, the best of your life after investing 3 to 4 or 5 years. But if you keep scrolling online and looking at other people and thinking that if you invest everything now and put all your chips in your eggs in this basket and say, I'm going to jump out here in this field with this so-and-so type person and do what they're doing and get on the same level with them. I'm going to invest everything right now and I'm going to show up on the surface and I'll be running neck and neck with them. If you think you're going to be neck and neck with them, you got another thing coming. I remember when I started out becoming a speaker. I remember when I jumped out, when I knew my purpose in life was to speak. When I knew that, I remember going door to door, knocking on church doors. I remember this. Maybe my first couple months jumping out here speaking. And I'll tell you what I did. I had a message. I put my message on a hat. I put my message on a shirt. And I wore that for a year, 2 years. And for the first 3-4 months, I jumped out there with that message on my hat, with that message on my shirt. I jumped out on the scene. I went to knocking on church doors. And I introduced myself to the leader, my name, gave him my business card, and I asked, I said, are you looking for a inspirational speaker to speak to your youth? And they looked at me with the crazy eyed look. Like, are you crazy? I'm not letting you in here to speak to my youth. Not in a bad way. It wasn't in a bad way that they were making that claim. It wasn't in a bad way, beloved. It was basically them saying, who are you? What have you done? Where is your body of work? And I am not to trust you to just show up in here and speak to my students. I don't know you like that. And so I had to deal with that. And what did I do? I went to work. I went home. And every night, I turned my camera on. And I recorded me making videos. Inspiring the youth. On my Sweat for Life video topics. That is still on my YouTube channel under the name Marcus Inspires. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see all my videos there way back when I started out. And it was just me in my kitchen, standing in front of a black curtain, talking to the camera, inspiring the youth with a message. I did that for about a year, a strong year. And from that, the first biggest speaking engagement of my career came to me. A lady saw it on Facebook and she said, wow, you would be perfect to speak at our organization. And it was the opening of the Dr. Martin Luther King Coalition Center in Clearwater, Florida. That message and speech is on that very same channel. It was the opening for the center is called the Dr. Martin Luther King Coalition Center of Clearwater. And I spoke there. It was my first big speaking engagement. And I spoke in front of maybe 400 people that day. Half of the crowd was dignitaries, political figures, school board members, church ministers and priests and pastors, community leaders, activists. I spoke in front of the largest crowd for the first time, about 400 people. And I spoke the biggest speech of my life. It was my first speech. And I say that to say this to you all. And I'll bid you a good night. I say all of that to say this. When I stuck to what I believe was for me, the opportunities rose within me. The opportunities rose within me. And I'll end like this. The greatest opportunity we have is to live optimistic. The greatest opportunity we have is to have a healthy outlook on life. This is the greatest opportunity we have. If every day you wake up, you get up, and you look and you say, what am I going to do today? You're leaving it, you're making that a question for someone else to answer, not a physical person. But if you get up and you say, I am going to, what Napoleon Hill called auto-suggestion. If you auto-correct yourself and you get up and you stop saying, you auto-correct yourself by doing this. Stop saying, what am I going to do today? And start saying, this is what I'm going to do today. That's an optimistic mindset. Not, what am I going to do today? But this is what I'm going to do today. That's an optimistic mindset. And that's the mindset you need going forward to stay creative and allowing that change to continue to come. That you need to stay creative in your foundation. Now, don't jump out of your foundation into another foundation just because somebody else is doing it very well, swiftly, and moving fluidly through that. And don't try to make what you do relate to what someone else is doing, like I could do, using the Louise Hayes analogy again. No, her foundation is publishing, my foundation is healing. We have many ways we could create many outlets from that. As she did, and as I talked about, I do. I have many outlets that I use. If I go anywhere outside of those outlets, those branches that's on that tree, I'm going to find myself burnt out because I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm going to find myself drained and de-energized. I'm going to find myself drained of energy because I'm stepping out of the realm and the scope of what I have the energy for. And so the greatest opportunity is to have a healthy perspective when you wake up and you say, this is what I'm going to do today. And that's when opportunities rise within you. I know this one thing about myself. And I promise you, after I say this, I am done. I promise. I know this one thing about myself as an optimist is that I know for me, maybe this ain't for you and this ain't for you to think like this. This is for me to think like this and this is for me to speak to myself. But I know for me, I am going to be one of, not the, but one of the greatest healers that walk on this earth. I know that for myself. And I live with that optimism every single day. Because I live with the ideal in my mind that everything I'm doing, and I can share this with y'all, that everything I'm doing is to get my retreat, my healing retreat center. Everything I'm doing is working toward that mission, that goal. That is my finite ideal in life. That's where everything is leading toward. All my speaking engagements I do, all my workshops I do, all my retreats I do, all my books I write, it's all leading me toward that one thing. That retreat center, that holistic healing retreat center that I am going to manifest for myself. Because I am putting in the work right now to do it and get there. And so that's why I said, you can't invest a lot of money and think that because you put the money in, a lot of people are going to flock. People want history on you. Where's the time that you invested? I got time invested. So therefore, many are going to come because I built the door a long time ago, 10 years ago. And people that are just now waking up, they're walking through a door I built 10 years ago. That's 10 years back. And they're coming up, getting direct access to me. And what they end up doing is, even they end up burning out because they think that they can walk alongside of me, who is so far advanced in this field and consistent with it. They think that they can walk alongside of me, and they end up getting burnt out because they don't want to go and do any of the things I'm suggesting. Certain things like join my workshops, join my retreats, join my Zoom calls, join my seminars, join my Meals That Heal workshops, buy the book. They don't want to put in any invested time into these small things that can get them to walk with me and alongside of me. And I'm not saying this in an egotistical way, and I'm not saying this to brag, but what I'm saying is, if you are just now waking up and you just now find me, you're going to experience burnout and uninspiredness. Because you're going to come up to me and realize I can't hold a candle to him because he does this every single day. He's consistent. He's consistent every single day. I've had people try to come and be in my life. I've had people try to come be with me and be in my life and think that they can walk with me and realize they can't be with me. Because to be with me, you have to keep up with the energy that I put out toward the work that I do. I do it every single day, around the clock, nonstop. Even when I'm uninspired, I'm up 3, 4 in the morning, sitting at the drawing board, trying to think of an idea of how to put it back out there. Or put more out there. So I'm consistently at the drawing board. I'm consistently working. I'm consistently in that energy space with myself. And so they even get burnt out. Because they're walking through a awakening door. This is them waking up, walking through a door I built 10 years ago. But they jump and leap all the way ahead of the 10 years of work and come up here and be up here with me and try to walk up here with me. But I'm running. I'm compare us two side by side. I'm running while they are crawling. I'm speed running while they are crawling, literally on a spiritual level. And they experience burnout because they realize I can't keep up with him because he just caught up in, and they try to make it seem like it's my fault that I'm caught up in the work that I love and the work that I do. And they try to make it seem like it's my fault because I know my purpose. And they blame it on, they use the excuse and blame it on me by knowing what I'm here to do and working it and actually doing it. And they try to generate this campaign around themselves that they are doing things too. But literally, when you look at their life, and I'm not saying this to talk down about them, but when you literally look at their life, I ask myself, and I ask them too, straight to their face, where? They say, I'm just not putting it out there yet. See, I'm not the dummy. You the dummy. You the one putting it all out there. I'm not putting my work out there yet. I don't want everybody in my business. I don't want everybody to know what I'm doing. I don't want everybody coming to me like that. I don't want all that energy. They try to blame it on some type of spiritual jargon. I don't want all that energy in my life. I don't want all these type of, but beloved, because it's not, the path was not paved for you. The path that you're walking, that was the path that you chose and that was paved for you. So you walk that path of nobody knowing you. And I'm not saying because people know you makes you an important person. You understand? I'm not trying to make myself important. But I got out here in the space with people Not to be known, but to be known to myself as a healer. Not to be known by them, but to be known to myself as a healer. I know I'm a healer. And so that puts me in the space with people. That put me in spaces with people. Because I'm a healer. It put me in spaces with people. I didn't go get in space with people just to get in space with people. I'm in space with people because I'm a healer. That work that I do puts me in space with people. But they try to blame it on, they try to use spiritual jargon. You put all your essence out there, all your energy out there. But beloved, people pay for that. They trade energy with me. People pay for that. People give me in exchange for that. People join my workshops. People show up to my retreats. Now again, everything I do, everybody don't show up to. Everything I do, it don't get 20 people. There's things that I get invited to where I get opportunities to speak in front of 15, 20 people. There's things that I do. Again, that word do. There's things that I do create where I can draw in 20 plus 50 people. You understand? So, I remember last year, January 1st, the opening of my center. I had a opening ceremony, a soft opening celebration ceremony, and people showed up. People attended. People came. People celebrated with me. And then I did something else and no one showed up. And so it's not about who shows up, who don't. It's just the fact that I create the opportunities for myself that put me in spaces with people. And it's not about who shows up. It's about, do I show up? Do I show up? As long as I show up, and as long as I show up, I'm good. But if no one shows up, that's not my problem. My problem is to show up. My job is to show up. Your job is to attend. Now, if you don't, fine. I showed up for myself so that when I do manifest the vision that I have, people can't look at me and say, he's an overnight success. I'm going to say, no way. I got 10 years invested. This is not an overnight success. This is 10 years in the making. And it may be 12 years because I plan on having my vision manifested in, 2 more years. But I'm giving myself that time and space to operate in my field, to do just that. And build and grow and gain and garner the opportunities. But I see them say, you giving your essence away and try to make themselves feel good. I get it. You're trying to make yourself feel good for not doing a damn thing in life. You're trying to make yourself feel good for not having nothing published out there, for not having anything on paper or on wax. You're trying to make yourself feel good because maybe all you do is post selfies of yourself on the internet. And that's your way of feeling good about yourself. Where's the creativity that comes with what you say, who you say you are? I'm not trying to point fingers and talk down about anybody, but I'm asking a genuine question. Where is the things you say you do? Where is it? Is it online? No, it's not online. Okay, that's fine. It don't need to be online. Where is it in your real life? Where is it showing up in your actual life? I'm not putting it out there yet. Well, beloved, you cannot throw all your eggs in one basket, empty it out on the people, on the surface of the people's minds, hearts and minds, and expect everyone to show up because you dump your whole load on them. No, beloved. Some of these things come with change. Some of these things come with change. And you cannot be afraid of change. And the only way you are open to change is when you stay optimistic. So that way you don't have the uninspired cloud hanging over you. Break the spell of the uninspired cloud. How? Being optimistic. Having a healthy outlook. Don't wake up and ask, what am I going to do today? Wake up and ask, Wake up and say, this is what I'm going to do today. Cement it. Consecrate it. Plant it. Make it a bond within the universe and say, this is what I'm going to do today. And watch it get done. Watch it open up. Watch the opportunities arrive. Because you became the person you needed to be. At the time, change called on you. Opportunities don't show up on the surface. They don't rise on the surface. They rise within. You don't see them on the surface. Opportunities are seen within. They arise within you. How do you break the spell? You break the spell of the uninspired cloud by getting optimistic about life. Point blank, period. That's it. Get inspired about life. Stay out there, y'all. I ran my mouth long enough. But these are the after hours audio cast. I'm going to be, see, this is my essence. Me depriving myself of sleep to bring you essence. To bring you my spirit, my soul. And this is what they say. I'm giving away my essence. But this is not me giving away my essence. It's not what Lil Wayne said. It's not tricking if you got it. It's not giving away my essence if it's fun. It's not giving away my essence if it's fun for me. It's not giving away my essence if it's giving me some pleasure, if it's giving me something back from it, enjoyment, excitement. It's not giving away my essence if it gives me excitement as well. This gives me excitement. It gives me pleasure. It gives me joy to do it. I love it. And I will continue to do it. I don't know how long these audio casts I'm going to be doing though, but I am going to say this. When I feel the opportunity rise within me, I'm going to do the audio cast. Point blank and period. That's it. So just be aware of that. Okay? But these are what I call the after hours audio cast mood swings. I'm just bringing you how I'm feeling. I'm bringing you messages on how I'm feeling and messages on what I want to say when I'm feeling it instead of holding it in. Instead of allowing it to sit and dwell within me. Instead of allowing it to fester. I am saying, nope. I am going to get up, do this live audio cast, and express my moods, my feelings right then and there. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here late with me. Some of you guys who are on Eastern time late. Some of you who are on the West Coast, it ain't but what? Well, it's 2, 1, 12, it's 11 for you. It's 11 o'clock. Hold on. Yeah. If you're on the West Coast, it's only 11 o'clock. So, you're still up listening. So, thank you for those of you tuned in. And I always like to end my talks like this. I love you. I love me. I love us. Be well, be loved, and be light, beloved. And always remember to do one favor for me. Do me one favor. Tap the heart, tap the heart, tap the heart, touch the heart. And I want you to say, repeat after me. Always live from the soul. Peace. Y'all have a good night.